Okay, hi Rob, Happy New Year.
You too, mate. Happy New Year to you.
Some surprise at the shock at the start of the new year. Can you just sum up Gareth Bale's contribution to Wales and what he's meant to you?
Oh my God, it's phenomenal what he's done for not just us from a footballing point of view, Rob, but as a nation as well. You know, he's put Wales on the map, hasn't he, globally, because of what he's done in European football at Real Madrid, what he done in the Premiership at Tottenham when he first started off, and then in the World Cup. You know, and not just, like I said, from a footballing point of view, but from a cultural point of view and just Wales in general. Everybody should be very proud of what he's done for us. And I've worked with him now for a couple of years. And when I was with the 21s, I could see from afar that he was passionate about playing for his country. Now, having worked with him closely, it's another level again. Honestly, he's so proud every time to put that jersey on, and it comes through with him. You know, he's the first through the building. He's a credit to himself and his family, the way he conducts himself around the group and with the young players when they come into camp, and how he looks after them. So, of course, he'll be missed, and it's not the news that we wanted to start the year, but we all knew it was going to come at one day. We just didn't know when that day was going to come.
Rob, in his really emotional statement right at the end of it to Wales fans, he basically said he's stepping down but not away. What role do you foresee for Gareth Bale in the future with the Wales squad? Because you've clearly said you want him to still be part of things.
Look, when you've got somebody of Gareth Bale's stature and what he's done for Wales and the impact he can have, even in the changing room, just being around the players, then, you know, I've got to take advantage of that. And he's interested to do it in whatever capacity. That's something we'll have a chat about further down the line in the next couple of weeks, no doubt. But that's something that I'm passionate about, and I want to keep. I'd like to keep him involved. I think he will be interested. Absolutely. I think there might have already been discussions before this about staying involved in some capacity. The important thing is right now, Rob, is to celebrate his career, celebrate what he's done for us as a nation, and enjoy. I done it myself last night. I look back at the montage of goals that he scored, and they were incredible. I think I was smiling every goal that he put in, because he doesn't score bad goals, Gareth. So it's about celebrating what he's done right now. Let him have some time with his family. And when the time is right, we'll have that conversation about how we keep him involved and what capacity we keep him involved.
You've already talked about a transition after the World Cup. Are you concerned that people like Aaron Ramsey, for instance, might take the same course as Gareth? Because beforehand, you were saying that you talked about sort of phased retirements. We know they're coming towards the end of their careers, the 30-somethings. But are you concerned that sort of Gareth going might lead to a flow before the Euros start?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. You're right. I did allude to that a while back about, you know, as a group of senior players, they're conscious that they want that culture that's in that changing room to evolve with the next group, the next generation coming through. And to do that, they want to be sympathetic as a group in how they manage that. And that's credit to themselves for even thinking that way. With regards to Aaron, I think he's still got a lot of football to give for Welsh football. I really do. And that'll be my message to him when we have that conversation. You look at the stats from the European qualifiers, from the World Cup qualifiers, from the World Cup itself, his stats from distance covered and sprints, he tops the table. He tops the table for both teams. So there's still a lot of football to be played from Aaron's point of view. And he's still a great player. Now, whether he can do that consistently back-to-back games, that's another question. But I think he's still got a lot to offer. So I don't envisage now 2 or 3 others doing the same. I don't.
And last one from me. Given what you say, you still believe it's transition rather than revolution?
Oh yeah,
now, absolutely. Gareth Bale.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen some of the young players we've got through. We introduced people like, used to be Brennan Johnson as an example. We've introduced him over the last 12 months, 18 months, and you can see the progression that he's making. There's other young players now. Taking JJ away with us for the World Cup to have that experience of training with the boys day in, day out is going to hold him in good stead for the future. You know, there's lots of Ollie Cooper we took as well, and we exposed him to that environment. So it's not about a complete change now. It's about drip feeding these young players in from top clubs and giving them that opportunity now and that challenge. And having spoke with Gareth, that was part of the reasoning behind it as well. He didn't want to hold up anybody else's progress as well. And you've got to commend him for that as well.
Cheers, Rob. Thanks.
Thanks, Rob.
Diolch, Rob. Sianed Dafydd, sgorio?
Hi, Rob. You okay?
Hi, Sianed. All good. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Just wanted to know, how much warning did you guys get? You know, had there been conversations beforehand? Because I think we were all a bit shell-shocked yesterday when Gareth casually dropped the news on a gloomy Monday afternoon.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, you know, I've had a great relationship with Gareth over the last couple of years since working closely with him. We've had conversations out the camp. We've had many conversations while we've been in camp, and I've had a great relationship with him. I think that's a decision only he can make with his family. And I think he came at the right time. He showed me the respect, which I thought was class, to phone me on the Sunday to give me a heads up that he was going to make this statement the following day at 3:00. And of course, it's mixed emotions, isn't it? Because he's been such a wonderful servant for our country as a footballer, but and as an ambassador for Wales as well, you know. And so that's sad in a way, because you will never get to see Gareth Bale put on a pair of boots for Wales again, which is quite emotional. But the flip side of it, from a manager's point of view now, I have to be excited by it as well, because it gives an opportunity for a Brennan, again, who I've just used as an example, to nail down that position now of his own and be the next Brennan Johnson.
Absolutely. You just mentioned your personal relationship with Gareth. You know, how much has he helped you since you stepped into the role, and how valuable has he been in that job?
Yeah, Sianed, I've said it time and time again to you when you've interviewed me, how important not just himself but the other senior players are. The Chris Gunters of the world, the Alan Ramsey, the Wayne Hennessy's, you know, Ben Davis now, the next one coming through of that senior role. Then, you know, they've been really important to that environment. And when you've got a group of players that conduct themselves in the manner in which they do and take care of that, it makes your job as a manager easy. You can just focus on the football side of it. And so I want to thank him for that, for being the person he's been and managing that environment. I said to you before, I likened him to when Gary was my captain. You turn up on camp, some of the young players turn up, and he treats them exactly the same as what he would Aaron or Joe Allen or Chris Gunt. You know what I mean? Anybody's playing whatever level, you're all equal. There's no egos there. And he drove that environment, which would make your job easy as a manager.
Last one, you just mentioned that you spent last night watching the montage of his best bits, like all of us. Is there a best bit that stands out for you from Bale?
Well, from a personal point of view, for me, it's the free kick against Ukraine, you know, and I'm so pleased that we managed to get that. We fought to get that in his name. So that's just because of the personal connection. But when you look back at some of the goals he scored in the Champions League finals and the important goals that he's got, it's been incredible. What a career that man has had, and he deserves all the plaudits he's going to get today.
Rob, really appreciate your time. Diolch.
Thanks, Sianed. Diolch.
Diolch, Sianed. Matthew Southcombe from ITV News.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Matthew.
We all know, obviously, Gareth was adored by the fans. Can you just give us a bit of an insight into what playing for Wales meant to him?
Yeah, it meant everything. It meant everything. Now, you'd have to speak to him personally to get the emotional connection behind it. You know, for me, when I played for Wales, it was knowing that my family was sat in the stands growing up in Wales, and that emotional connection that I had used to bring me to tears in the anthems. No different, no doubt, to what Gareth would be feeling, you know. All I know is that he was really passionate about his country, and he publicised it time and time again, didn't he? You know, he's not afraid to tell people that the pecking order of where he was with his with golf and club football and playing for Wales. And it shone through. I said from a distance when I was under 21s manager, I used to watch him and think, wow, he just loves being here. When you've got a group of players, and I've picked up on this now, having worked closely with them the last couple of years, they are best friends. And I've said this in one of my team talks and an interview I've done maybe for the Austria game. It is just like watching a group of friends play football together without the pressure, it's not about the money, it's not about anything. It's just about a group of them playing together. And I think he really enjoyed the environment. He loved getting back with his mates. They'd message each other a couple of weeks before they were due to meet up on camp. And they couldn't wait. There was that excitement knowing they were going to get together and have a kickabout together in the next couple of weeks. So that makes it easier when you've got an environment like that you can't wait to get into. That adds to the excitement of playing for your country.
Yeah, you've alluded to it a little bit there as well. I mean, what was he like in training? Because he was clearly a superstar and had every right to behave like one if he wanted to, but I don't get the impression that he did.
No, when he trained, he trained. And he would show moments of class. Again, I've said in previous interviews that I wish the supporters could come to watch training, and some of the magic he produces in training is incredible. And later on in his career, of course, towards the end, he couldn't sustain that 3-4 days through the week. Of course not. But the days that he did train, he was the ultimate professional and trained and done it properly. And that's why I wanted these younger players, JJ, Ollie Coopers, to come in and see how he conducts himself off the pitch and on the pitch when he works. When he works, he works.
And just lastly from me, obviously 33, which you look at it and think maybe he could have squeezed a few more years out of it. But just give us a sense of what he puts his body through, because he's not like a normal athlete, is he? He's all about fast twitch fibers and power, all the rest of it. That puts his body under a lot of strain, doesn't it?
Well, that's his game, isn't it? Pace and power. And when you look back at the montage of goals yesterday, 99% of them were pace and power, leaving defenders for dead, and leaving them by 10 yards and then, world-class finish at the end of it. He's the ultimate professional. And I guess when you put that much time and energy into maintaining and managing your body to do a training session daily, weekly, for that end result, to play a 90-minute game at the end of it, it's a big ask. So I think he'll have had a nice time with his family over Christmas. He's passionate about golf, so there might be the odd round of golf that he might play in the next few weeks. And I think he's at the stage of life now where he goes, do I really need to be doing that now? And I agreed. When I spoke to him on Sunday, I agreed. I said, I think it is maybe the right time for you, Gareth. You've done everything you wanted to achieve in football. You've taken Wales to a World Cup. You've scored in a World Cup. Yes, the plan moving forward might not be for you to start that many games, but maybe have an impact off the bench. So for him, I completely agree and understand why he's done it at this moment in time.
Thanks, Rob.
Cheers. Thank you.
Diolch, Matthew. And we go on to Tim Thornton from Sky Sports News.
Hi, Rob. You okay?
Hi, Tim. All good, thanks.
Can you just give us a bit more of an insight into the conversation that you had with Gareth on Sunday? I guess it came as a bit of a surprise when you received the call. So what type of conversation was it? And did you discuss the future and what role he might have?
Yeah, it was a brief conversation on Sunday. There will be further conversations down the line because I want to have a discussion about Qatar and how that went over there and have some feedback from him from a player's point of view. So there will be discussions later on down the line. It was a brief. Me and Gareth speak. We speak quite a bit anyway. Off camp, in between camps. Sorry. So it wasn't unusual, and I just had a text message off him asking for a quick conversation. We've done that in the past. So I got home, phoned him. And he just said he's made the decision to, I think he just told LA, and before he wanted to announce it and tell anybody else, he gave me the ring and told me that he was retiring from football completely, which did come as a surprise at that moment in time. I wasn't expecting that from him in that phone call. But when you take a step back and strip the emotions out of it, I get it. I understand why he's done it. And for him to finish at the top of his game, I completely understand it. So it was a brief conversation. And I said, I would love for him to stay involved in some capacity. When you've got a player in Gareth Bale, you want to keep him involved in some capacity. Now, what that capacity is, that's up for myself and the team to speak with him again further down the line. And it's got to be right for him and his family and see how we can make that happen.
Do you feel like a waste if a great player like him, who's got such a big influence within the camp, that if he didn't stay on in some capacity?
Look, he's passionate about his country. He is passionate about his country and our football team in particular. And I think he's going to be more than happy, without putting myself 100% on it. I think he'd be more than happy to help out in any way that's needed. So it won't be a waste. I think, I'm dead keen to do it myself, and discussions will be had, and we'll have to wait and see as to when that will be announced.
Could he be in place hopefully for the European games, for the Euros?
Well, potentially, we'd hope so. But like I said, I need to give him some space now. Go and have some nice time with the family and come to terms. It's a big change for him. It's a big transition. Every player that's had the career that he's had, I didn't have a tenth of the career he had, and I found it hard transitioning from not playing to I went straight into coaching, but to not playing and having that discipline in your life is quite a hard transition. So he'll be around the family, he'll have some nice time. And when he's adapted to that, then we'll be in contact again and see how we move forward.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thanks.
Diolch, Tim. With the timings, we only have time for a few more. So it'll be Phil Blanche from PA and then finally Ian Mitchell more from Wales Online.
Hi, Rob, you okay?
Hi, Phil. Good, thank you.
Yeah, good to see you. Just to say, there's a statue of Gareth Edwards who is still with us in Cardiff City Centre. Would you like to see a statue of Gareth somewhere?
Oh, of course, absolutely. For what he's done, like I've said to you, not just what he's done for the football team, but Wales as a country. You know, he has put us on the map globally, absolutely. And he's helped us qualify for the World Cup, which again has raised our profile as a country, and he deserves all the credit he's going to get. Absolutely.
Like to see one at the Cardiff City Stadium, maybe.
Is what? Sorry, you broke up, mate. Sorry,
you'd like to see a statue at the Cardiff City Stadium, maybe? Good place.
No, I think you've got to do something for him. He's been such a legend, and an icon for all the children in Wales as well. You know, so why not? I'd fully support that. Absolutely.
And just one final one, Rob. Whether he's involved or not with you in March, I suppose you didn't get a real send-off. Would you like to see him at the stadium maybe for the Latvia game or before the match in front of the fans to show their appreciation?
Yeah, that could be an option. Absolutely. But again, you know, Gareth's going to be in control of that. You know, we'll have to find out his whereabouts and what he'd be doing. And yeah, that would be a lovely, lovely gesture. And no doubt we'll be having conversations about that.
Thanks, Rob.
Cheers, Phil.
Diolch, Phil. And finally, Ian Mitchell from Wales Online.
Afternoon, Rob. How are you?
Good, Ian. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Happy New Year as well. Just in terms of the captaincy going forward, I'm sure you've got many contenders. We've seen some of the players that have had it when Gareth hasn't been playing, but have you given that consideration and have you got a name in mind already?
Yep, absolutely.
Care to share any more?
Nope. No, I think it'll come as no surprises when it's eventually announced. But look, we've got a good group of players, and they're senior players. They're all lead by example anyway. But there's one that stands out for me, and we've already preempted this. We've already thought about what if, when this comes, what do we do? So no, I wouldn't want to do it now, but there'll be a right time and a place, and I'll be announcing it. But I've got somebody in mind, yeah.
And you mentioned, obviously, he's got the short-term plans with his family, and hopefully you can get him involved in some capacity. But has he indicated his own long-term plans and what he wants to do, whether it's in football or not?
No, absolutely not. I know he's involved in a lot of... I've said this about Gareth before, and this is where my back gets up when he has the unjust criticism, especially from the Spanish press at times. And the work he does for charity and some of the golfing projects that he's got, that he gives back into the sport, is incredible. And I think he's just going to throw full focus into that for the time being, be with his family. He's got another interest in golf. Why not? Go and enjoy yourself. He's earned the right to do it. He's been an absolute legend for Welsh football. And now's the time. Go and spend some family time. Go and enjoy playing golf in the sunshine somewhere. He's earned the right to do that. And when the time's right, I'll be in contact, have conversations with him about getting him back involved in some capacity.
Oh, man. Thanks very much, Rob. Cheers.
Cheers all, thank you.
Diolch, Ian. Diolch, thank you very much, everyone. We'll send the recording out straight away and hopefully speak to you all soon. Thank you.
Diolch.